Hi, guys. This is Daniel Alexander Cannon, and this is The Supernatural Show, part of the Supernatural Show Network, broadcasting worldwide. The show that is not for entertainment purposes. You are here because you are seeking something. What you seek, you may not know for sure. We too are seeking the same thing and ultimately believe it is the ultimate truths of our duality world, a world that is both carnal and supernatural. A world that we are in but not of, a flesh that we are in but not of. However, we are in the image of the Most High, our Father in heaven, and so are the heavens and even our world we temporarily are experiencing. All three are in the image of our Father, a likeness similar to, or in the image of. The Supernatural Show Network seeks to build a worldwide network of truth-seeking, truth-speaking, and like-minded children of the Most High. We invite content creators, behind-the-scenes assistants, and supporters to join the Supernatural Show Network as we build the temple made without hands, the prophesied body of Christ. It's time. It's time to open your eyes. It's time to open your ears and mind. It's time to start the Supernatural Show and go beyond the veil where supernatural secrets lie in wait to be discovered. Welcome to the foundation laying of the body of Christ. It has begun. And I am surrounded here by my people. And my people today happen to be Roxy, which is in the house here with us. What's
Hello,
happening?
hello.
What's happening, Miss the Roxy Files?
Miss the Roxy Files is
Yeah,
on the road today, but we're here.
well, that's good. That's good. Looks like we also have Mike Smith in the house. Got Anonymous Legion in the house with us. Got Miss Kim here as well with us, up and out in the background. And we've got Super Dave 44 from the Super Dave 44 YouTube channel in the house with us. You don't want to show your face online, but you still want to create high quality.
I am here. I'm trying to get chat up on my phone, so I won't be active that much in chat today, guys, because it's hard to see on these tiny phones.
Yeah, a little bit, right? I also see Michael Burns in the house with us today as well. What's happening, Michael? Great you being here, brother. Today, guys, what we're going to do, a couple things like we normally do, but one thing we're going to do is we're going to, well, there's three things mainly that we're going to do, but we go all over sometimes. But we're going to look into this this boom stuff that's going on. The other night, Saturday night, right?
Yep, Saturday night.
Saturday night. Well, Saturday night was quite eventful for me, and I got a video I'm going to probably release later of the events of Saturday night, or at least part of it. Some of you heard I dropped a video on the Logic Before Authority channel where I heard this boom, this more than a boom, it was an explosion. It sounded like the sky broke or something. I was actually inside, and this house, well, it's actually insulated really good, and it's got double pane windows, even though it's about 100-year-old house. It is insulated pretty good, and we don't normally hear too much from outside. Much. We can hear, somebody goes by with a redneck muffler. We hear that. But you just don't normally hear stuff. But I think I was sitting in the living room, and all of a sudden I hear, boom. And I'm like, what in the crap was that? Now, I've heard some booms in the last 30 days and going back further. But in the last 30 days, they've been quite often. And that's just the ones I've happened to hear because I'll be outside. Because most of them aren't loud enough for you to hear them inside. But this one was loud, and it was like Miss Kim says it's like an explosion. And of course, if you go and you look, start digging, a lot of people heard it. But if you ask the authority, I think Roxy has a little bit of inside information on maybe that subject. What are the authorities saying?
Well, the authorities in your area, maybe I should say in your county,
Uh-huh.
say that the origin of said boom was on the county line right beyond you,
Sounds about
because
right.
multiple counties over there had 911 call-ins of people saying something exploded. But as of 7 a.m. Sunday morning, there was no answer as to what it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she worked again last night. No more information. Like, nobody knows anything. And some of the authority in that area were just as curious as us was as to what this boom was. Nobody had an explanation. So when the authority in the area are curious, there's more to it somewhere.
Yes. So,
Because this is not an authority that would lie to me.
yeah.
She would tell her mama what she knew.
You let the cat out the bag. I didn't. Um.
It's okay.
So
I'm proud of my authority. My daughter has worked very hard to get where she's at. She's a good soul, a compassionate officer.
yes, she is indeed. Um. So if you go digging out there, which we did, and I'm going to show you some of those diggings here in a minute. We're going to look at the so-called AMS Fireball Map, American Meteor Society. We're going to look at the flight paths and what planes were showing up that we could see on the flight software. We're going to look at the earthquake maps. We're going to see if there's anything there to be seen. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to tell you up front, there's nothing there. But I'll show you. But you go into the comments, and you're going to have people with all kind of theories, because apparently everybody's a conspiracy theory these days, a conspiracy theorist these days. But, some people were saying tannerite. Well, okay, so I dug into tannerite and understand pretty well that you would need a semi truck of tannerite to even get remotely close to what that is. And even that would not be heard across 5 counties. That's
No.
just a little bit too big of an explosion.
And the
However,
only time you have that big of an explosion with tannerite would be when the Department of if it was, a legal, you know what I'm saying, coordinated, blah blah blah. The authorities in the area would have known, because Department of Natural Resources is about the only one that would use that kind of boom, and that's to blow beaver dams and waterways.
mhm,
Because we got bad beaver problems. They block up the water. They're trying to get rid of the flooding before
but
the
not heard
windy
over
season
5
comes
counties.
back. No, you would not have heard it. Like you said, that would have been a semi truck of tannerite.
So,
I've blown up tannerite before. For what you talking about, it might have been half of an 18-wheeler. Yeah.
so, so because one thing, if the explosion is on the ground, the sound will travel a lot less distance, and the way to get the sound to travel more, if it's in the air. So you would think, well, maybe sonic boom. Well, thing is that one, sonic booms, true sonic booms are very rare uh, over land, because one, it supposedly is against all the rules. Secondly, a sonic boom is not going to be heard over 5 counties again. It takes a much larger explosion. Now, my mind, I'll call it my spiritual mind. To me, it said Carrington event. Now, some of you remember that name and know what I'm referring to. Something that happened back around 1903, right in that area. It was tied to some technology. Well, the story they give is a comet or a meteor came down and blew up above the ground, yet no pieces of said comet or meteor were ever found. And it caused an impression on the ground where it flattened the trees all out in somewhat of a circle pattern in northern Russia back around 1903. For me, knowing what I've researched and come to understand about the Carrington event is that it was a weapons test. A weapons test that could be employed uh, basically anywhere, at any time, basically, and cause a large air um, either explosion or implosion, one of the two. And so if it's that would be it's man-made, and there's a purpose behind it. You have to kind of then think problem, reaction, solution. So there's a problem. What's the problem? Well, we don't know yet. But if this continues, it's probably going to become obvious what the problem that they're trying to create is, if this is man-made. Because, well, this is the Supernatural Show, and me and Roxy were talking just a little bit before the show, and it could be supernatural, an act of God. The thing is that it's happening. Not like this is impossible for God or anything, but it's happening all over the country on an ongoing basis, and not just this country, kind of like worldwide. And it's like you would need, if it was man-made, you would need a system of satellites and equipment floating in the skies that would have the ability to create said explosion or implosion in the heavens that would cause this, kind of like lightning. Lightning, when lightning strikes, you kind of think it's an explosion, but really what it's doing is it's splitting the air, and when the air comes back together, it claps. And you get the echo, which comes off of the firmament above, which you can hear in the intro of the Supernatural Show, that balloon pop and the echo imitating and sounding like lightning. Now, this didn't sound like a lightning strike exactly. It sounded like a gas station down the street blew up, is what it sounded like. It was like boom, 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 boom. So there was some echo to it, but it just had a little different sound. And I'm pretty curious as to what's going on, because I've just heard it too much. I mean, I heard one from the south, straight to the south of where I live. I was sitting on the front porch, heard it straight to the south, probably about 3 weeks ago. Then within a week later, I heard one coming from the west, but it wasn't that loud. This one was loud.
We're talking about something that's possibly sonic. And since we're talking about something that's possibly of a sonic type nature, have you read the reports of what actually went on when they went down there to that little country and got that little man with the dark colored hair and the mustache?
The reports, I've read some stuff, but I don't think I've read the reports you're talking about.
These are the soldiers that were the privates of the military that protected him.
Mm-hmm.
And they said that whole situation that went on down there were only 20 soldiers of ours. And when those 20 soldiers come in, a few minutes before it happens, all power, internet, everything went out, everything went dark. The home of that man was surrounded by drones, and a few helicopters come in, and his soldiers started firing against ours, and there was some type of weapon that was unleashed on them. And they said they all were physically incapacitated, fell to their knees,
Mm-hmm.
felt like their guts were being ripped out,
Yep.
and they were bleeding from the nose and the mouth.
Sonic weapon, frequency weapon, yeah.
Yep. Shortly thereafter, after them leaving, everybody kind of recovered, but they lost a lot of men because they said the pew-pews that were being, at them had to be at least 200 to 300 rounds per minute. That they had never, and these are military men down there that had never seen or witnessed anything on that level before. And immediately, from what I can find out online, all of the Spanish speaking, social media, TikToks,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing, were flooded with this. And then all of a sudden, one of those black triangle crafts showed up over South America, right above the trees. No camouflage, no hover, no nothing. and it was spotted over Latin America, Cuba, a couple of other countries. Kind of like, hey, we're right here. We see you. You're next. Keep running your mouth.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Had a couple of comments that I should probably mention. One is that Scott gets that 5268. He said Tunguska event, and that's what I meant to say. I said Carrington. Tunguska is what I meant to say. And then also Jeremiah Cheshire, Cheshire. He said, man, we have the big sky rumbling along the Gulf Coast all day long. So big sky rumbling apparently going down around the Gulf Coast down there quite a bit. But this was a it probably lasted about a second and a half. It was like boom, 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 boom. Yeah. And then we didn't hear anything after. Of course, I went straight outside and I didn't see anything in the night sky or anything. But that is interesting what you're saying though about what's being said down there. They
Oh yeah,
definitely
they're
have
like,
weapons that
and
they
I
can
mean,
hit you
this
with.
is like going viral down there. Like they're sharing it and warning other people, and most of it's in Spanish, so you're having to translate it or you're hearing it from a third party because I don't speak Spanish. But and you know how it is, they block stuff from other countries, so we don't see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But evidently, Latin America, there was quite a few people that had posted images and we're calling it the TRB3, and it looked like, see, this thing to me, when you see those pictures, it looks, it's what we saw.
Mm-hmm.
And but this thing, I don't know, it almost looks like a wedge of cheese to me out of a cheese wheel.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy looking.
It's
But yeah,
extreme high tech. Everything that
oh
they've
yeah.
figured out how to do in copying nature. Um, like for instance, it come to mind a minute ago while you were explaining some things that, like the strike of lightning, how you could recreate that sound means that you simply
Hmm.
need to split the air like the lightning bolt does. You need to split it so when it comes back together, you get that clap. And that's what they do is they copy nature. So any of these technologies can be traced back. It's all about the tree of knowledge of good and evil. All of,
Oh goodness. See, you done went down the rabbit hole me and Shannon's been down for 2 days
oh
now.
boy.
Yeah.
So,
Look back in history at different civilizations. This is just for the viewers out there because this is what Shannon and I are going to be touching on some along with our show.
mm-hmm,
Look back by, and I don't necessarily mean civilization as far as time, I mean location. Like, Latin America, Asia, different countries. Look back at their lore. They're, like they're indigenous people. Like we have the Hopi Indians. Those would be our native lore of this physical piece of property we live on, would be the Indians. But if you look back through that or look back through their historical documents, you'll realize that different groups of people, whether they were Asian or Spanish or whatever, even when you look back at the geological, archaeological side of it, like the Basque people over in Spain, they're credited with being one of the first civilizations to work with metalwork. Now, go look at their historical folklore of what monsters. You noticed that like different areas always have that monster, whether it be the sea serpent mermaid or whether it be the werewolf or everybody's got their little monster in their thing.
mm-hmm,
If you compared that monster with with what they're credited for contributing to the global society, whether it be metalwork or herbs or learning how to do things, then you'll figure out which Nephilim angel created that sect of people.
mm-hmm,
Because it tells you that the Watchers, when they failed, they bestowed secrets, knowledge upon people that they weren't supposed to, and that they laid with the daughters of man. So if they laid with the daughters of man, you then created a hybrid. And if you've got a certain group of people that were the first that used ironwork, well, there's your watcher. Now you know which watcher, or you can tell that, you know what I mean, the attributes that that watcher
Hmm.
gave that sect of population.
And who says a hybrid has to be something that doesn't look like a human? That just hit my
Well, let
mind.
me give you, for instance, on the word human. It says God made man. Didn't say God made human. It says God made man. What does the word hue mean? Hue. If
You?
you have a blue shirt, but it's a hue of blue, it's not base blue, it's a hue of blue, right? Means
Mm-hmm.
it is a shade or a
Similar to.
variation.
Similar to.
It
In the image
similar
of.
to human,
Hmm.
Nephilim and man, human. It was a shade of man.
Hmm.
Me and
So
Shannon been down a deep rabbit hole last night.
so that sounds like goes right along with what hit my mind just now is who says a monster has to not look like a human? Who says that a hybrid, a
Well,
Nephilim hybrid, it could look like a man, but
okay,
maybe
well,
he's the hue of a man, like you just said.
right. There are certain groups of people, and this is what Shannon and I did last night. We were, like I said, we were looking at Asians versus Hispanics versus, you know, Spanish versus, you know what I mean, all different areas of the globe, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever you want to call it, the world. We'll say world, because anyway,
Mm-hmm.
if you go and look at that population, go back to the like oldest skulls that they have found. You know what I mean? That they've dated that civilization by the tools they found, the skulls they found.
Mm-hmm.
Look at their teeth. Look at the size of their skull. What was one of
And the
the
shape of
things?
their skull.
Uh huh. The little man back in the 30s with the mustache, he was obsessed with sending scientists all over the world to measure skulls and teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah,
side note.
the conical shaped skull is a
Mm-hmm.
fascinating rabbit hole. And even one of the
Some
rock
of
of
the
one of
early skulls they found do not have canines. Canine,
mm-hmm.
dog, canine.
Mm-hmm.
We all know that words mean something.
Oh yeah.
So,
Way
and
more
if you
than we
think about the
know.
fact that you can take a horse and I think it's a horse and a donkey, and you get a mule, you get a lion and a tiger, you get a liger, but you know a liger can't have babies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hybrids don't breed well. They have a lot of problems having miscarriages.
Mm-hmm.
If they do have a baby or a puppy or a kitten or whatever, they only usually get one.
This is theorized too as to why the woods people, their population is limited because it's said that they have a very hard time having children.
This conversation was meant to happen today.
Well,
Um,
apparently so. I don't know how it comes from a
I don't
boom,
either.
but you
All
know,
right.
actually I
So
do know how it come from it. You know, because
we know
anyways.
that the woods people, Sasquatch, Bigfoot, whatever people want to call
Mm-hmm.
it, we know it
Some
exists.
people call it fantasy. I call it. I've heard it, and I've had it smacked inside of my house many times. I've
Well,
heard it. I
they're
know they're
hairy.
out there.
All right. Well, we're going to go back to Egyptian hieroglyphs. And I try to put this in things that I know that we can all visualize as we're sitting here having a conversation. In your mind, think about the pictures that you've seen on hieroglyphs and paintings, you know, way back then. We're not talking about who it was, we're just talking about when it was. It's way back then. We know that stuff is dated really old. And the reason I say this is because Shannon and I, when we're going down these rabbit holes, we're trying to go to the oldest sources of proven information.
Mm-hmm.
Did it repeat afterwards? Did it change? Is it still there? Okay. When you look at those drawings and carvings, you see people that are half human, half bird, half human, half lion. You know what I'm saying? You see those images, but in our mind, I think some of us have always assumed that that was just some costume that they had on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or that it was some type of, you know, garment or jewelry or whatever that they had on.
Mm-hmm.
So if you
There's a
go
lot of
back up under,
depictions in the Egyptian
mm-hmm.
hieroglyphy.
Well, let's go back to the fact that if, okay, genetic traits are bred out over time. You know what I'm saying? It gets watered down. Once in a while, there won't be no redheads in your family, and there won't be no redheads in the child's other parent's family. But all of a sudden, it's a ginger. Red hair, eyes, pale skin, the whole 9 yards. And I don't mean that in an offensive way by any means. Please don't take that way. But that's a recessive gene. It just popped up later generations. Well, when you talk about the fact that a lion and a tiger make a liger, and some of them don't have, offspring, and if they do, they only get one. Well, let's compare that to humans. When you're talking about hybrids, Rh negative, they have problem after one pregnancy. That's why they invented the Rogaine shot. Everything over time becomes watered down, whether it be genetics or one thing or another. It can still pop back up. It's always there. It's memory. It's in your DNA. It's in your genetics. So if you start looking at those populations around the world in different countries, their origin stories, their history, what are they contributed with on a global scale as a contribution to humanity, you start seeing a pattern. And we know from what we were told in the Bible that these watchers fell, taught things they weren't supposed to teach, laid with women. Well, then we have a flood. The daughters, okay, if when the flood happens, and this is if, y'all, I'm by no means a Bible expert, but if when the flood happens, it is to wipe out these monsters from the Nephilim laying with women. The trees were cut down. We can now look and see that these flat-top mountains are not mountains. That's a tree stump all day long. Go cut a big tree down somewhere and you'll see the water gush out of it. That's a waterfall.
Yeah,
it's
like
tapped into a major water source below.
Different types will gush water, yeah.
Right. Everything is explainable. You just got to back off and look at it from a larger scale. What you're looking at it, look at it in a big size and scale it down to your world. And it'll all make sense. That's the only way I can explain it how I see it in my mind. But anyway, you had these angels, these watchers that laid with the daughters of man, had these monsters. So God decides we got to get rid of the monsters. He sends his other angels to cut down the trees, blacktop mountains. Well, when Noah builds his boat, he is the only pure. Okay, Noah is the only pure human man. Maybe I should say that. Noah is the only man.
You got a good point with that. The huge word.
Man, he's the only pure, so to speak. From this is what's represented in the book. His sons choose wives. Well, they weren't pure. There was recessive genetics in those women because they were chosen wives. Only Noah and his sons were pure. The wives his sons chose were hybrids because they are the only uncorrupted line on the world at that point is Noah and his children. So the wives of these children are hybrids. They are corrupted. They have Nephilim genetics in them. So there's your carry forward of genetic lines of recessive genetics. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Because, and then I start looking around at like other genetic traits that seem to be recessive and pop up throughout people. I found quite a few of them. We actually had a family member that had it, was born with no bottom teeth. Like only 2 teeth on the bottom, 2 teeth on the top. If you look at that and a lot of these people online, you realize that's fangs.
That's what? Oh, fangs.
People, yeah, they're fangs. And you look at other people, there's some people, and a lot of these are over in the Asian area where people are born and they have these like, almost looks like half of their chest, their shoulder, and like half of that side of the back, a quarter of them almost looks like black leather with hair on it, kind of like a monkey or a gorilla. There are people in certain parts of the world that are born with hair just all over their face. They look like werewolves.
Mm-hmm. I've
I'm not
seen
saying
that.
there's not other anomalies in those countries, but I'm talking about people born there. This is the highest strange birth anomaly they have. You see, and like it changes as you go from continent to continent. And when you do, then you're sitting there, and I see it in my brain that each one of these watchers like separated out and took a group of people, taught them certain things, laid with the women. They idolized that fallen watcher as a deity.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Their children were pharaohs and kings because they thought they were special. They had been, they were Nephilim. They were with an angel. And some of these, and those Nephilim's children eat everything. And that's your giants, which is, I can break down the word Gentile on that one, but yeah, I'm sorry. Shannon and I are down a deep rabbit
Well,
hole.
I was fixing to say, I think I know what the Roxy Files and the Children of the Most High, or Children of the Most High, have been working on. At least one of the
This is a
areas.
grander puzzle that we're putting together on our board. We're taking
Mm-hmm.
all of our little pieces, my pieces and her pieces, and we're grouping them together, and we're out there looking for other information because we don't want to have 27 little puzzles. We're trying to get the whole puzzle to merge together.
Mm-hmm.
Shannon and I spent the other day listening to the Gospel of Thomas, and that was enlightening.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
is the Apocrypha of John. They're extremely enlightening in this situation.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Yeah, so if y'all guys really want to dig down that rabbit hole some more, it's pretty obvious that they're working on that. So I would encourage y'all guys, if you haven't subscribed to the Roxy Files YouTube or Rumble channel, or Children of the Most High channel, so because they bounce backwards and forth, like all of us with the Supernatural Show Network kind of do. So I would encourage you to subscribe to their channels as well, to follow and keep up with what they're doing on that area. Kind of do want to go back kind of to the boom thing a little bit. And
Sorry, I didn't mean to get sidetracked.
no, I was actually going to come to you and ask you what you've been doing and what you've been working on, but you fell right into it. I didn't have to, so that was perfect. um, so I know that probably more of you guys, if I ask you, can you put it in the comments, that have you heard these booms in the last few months? And if you have, put kind of a location like state, or if it's a major city, put the city name and say, kind of say yes or what you've heard. You can put that in the comments. I'll definitely be looking at it and probably reading it, because I think this is something that is worldwide. Let me show you, give you an example. You've probably kind of seen it when you come in, as to what it possibly might be. Where'd I go? Be right in here. Thumbnails. Let's see here. Got an image here. What is that? Pull this one. So as you see, I create a little image here. This is your average land down in here in South Carolina. A lot of flat land and a lot of pine trees and other trees mixed in, but most of the hardwood has been harvested over the last 100 years, and even most of your fruit trees and all that have been killed, and we're left with basically a bunch of pine trees and a little bit of stuff mixed back in. I actually found out I've got a cherry tree growing up in the middle of my rose bush, a black cherry tree in the front yard, which I am very excited about. Don't know exactly how that happened, but anyway, so you got a scene here of flat land here in South Carolina. Now, I didn't mean for it to blow up the woods like this exactly, but it makes me wonder, like I was saying kind of in the beginning, as to where these huge booms, for y'all guys that are just joining, on Saturday night, I and Miss Kim and about a few thousand other people across about 5 counties. Matter of fact, there was even a comment, somebody into North Carolina said they heard it. So that's a pretty big boom. Lightning can't even be heard at those distances. It was nighttime, so sound will carry better. And I think it was an air explosion, and not a ground explosion. For one, they can't find anything that blew up. There's nothing on fire that they said blew up anywhere. There was one little, a little fire out in one location, but there was no explosion there. Supposedly, it's just some fire in a little piece of woods. But if it's from the heavens, it means that they've adapted a weapon and they're using this to, you might say, prime the pump for something. And for me, where my mind goes, and this is just me, because, well, I'm Daniel, and my mind goes to invasion kind of stuff, fake UFO invasion kind of stuff, where they're going to show us some ships that are going to freak some people out, whether they're real or whether they're holographic. So I think there'll be both. But you would need some things like, well, one, we got lights flashing on the ground in a lot of different places. Just the parking lot flat lights are flashing. The light on the subway building is flashing. The lights inside of some people's houses are just flashing. And it's all lights that are affected by EMF, electromagnetic frequencies. Okay, so they intentionally got rid of the incandescent light bulb, I believe, to prime the populace with lights that do things that it will appear that it is supernatural. Like so many lights, like Daniel Levin sent in those videos a while back, less than a month ago, where he was coming home from work and there was multiple different locations, and he's down in Georgia where he was filming the lights flashing. And so you got the lights flashing, and now we also got explosions going on in the air all over the country and even around the world that you can't find an answer for. And then you've also got what sounds like trumpets. This has been going on for many, many years. The trumpet sounds in the heavens, sounding like a bad trumpet player. I know you guys probably heard them and see the videos and stuff. And so there's one of two things, and I think kind of both are going on. The two things are, well, we're in the end times. Whether you like it or not, it appears that we're in there. Some people think that we've already went through that, and maybe that period was called the Dark Ages, and now we're in the little season. All I know is that there's definitely some crazy supernatural bad things going on and some man-made bad things going on. And there's a battle against the people, basically on a genocidal level, that is trying to reduce the population, and what's left, they want to control it and then rebuild off of that, the phoenix rising from the ashes. So, you have any thoughts on the possibilities of it being supernatural in nature, these booms, Roxy, or also the
I think it was
man-made
target
side?
practice.
Huh?
I think it was target practice.
But they're not
That's my honest
they're
opinion.
not hitting any targets other than our minds and our ears.
Well, it's not so much that they were trying to hit anything
Mm-hmm.
or that they were trying to do anything. They're just testing reach and accuracy and capability.
Real world tests of this technology that they've developed.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
because along with a part of, my brain is always in 9 different directions. Part of, I ran across this by accident the other day because I'm all the time looking at, I keep on one of my things I look at the tech. Like what we see as tech, like AI and the internet and Google and things of that nature, we're 100 years behind what is available.
Pretty much, yeah.
They're never going to let us see that first because if there's a way to weaponize it,
we actually might be a couple of thousand behind because
right?
they had tech back in the day where they didn't need electricity. They could build things that we can't even build today. So there was tech back then. So yeah, I think we're thousands of years behind, and they've got the really cool stuff hidden. The only reason they give us access to any of the tech is so it has convenience and benefits for us so that we'll use it and participate in our own demise and the building of our own prison. And I'm seeing some people making some comments and talking about blowing up the underground bases. And, I like your attitude because I'd like to think that's what they're doing is taking out the bad guys. Only problem is I really want somebody to show me the real good guys that's in power somewhere. And I know somebody's yelling certain names and stuff. And I hope you're right. I really do. I hope you're right. I don't know.
Well, I see a lot of things that are going on that are chess, not checkers. And there are a lot of people saying the quiet parts out loud.
Mm-hmm.
And you hope they're honest and true because what they're saying, you know what I mean? They're saying what we want to scream, but we'll get pushed for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I see lots of pieces to the puzzle because I try to go back and look at a line of events, not the noise surrounding it, not the was it real, was it fake. Just look at the line of events and what things happen in parallel to it as it goes along. Because most time, whatever they're doing, there's a distraction on the other side. If there's something big going on, there's a big, huge distraction going on over here so that something else takes the headlines. A news cycle is less than 24
like the day
hours.
Before that day back in September in the beginning of the century.
Yeah.
That they come out and they said, oh, we've lost $50 trillion or whatever it was, they said. And then the next day, boom, New York blows up. Like, where did that story go that we lost all this money?
Well, I can tell you this. The Titanic sinking was about the stock market. Them poor people just died for the same thing that happened in September. And the same thing that happened in Vegas and other mass things that are happening, whether they're real or fake, because they can be coordinated real events
where
that were just done by
real world
professionals.
Effects. Yeah.
Right. To create that effect. Because I can promise you, if what they done in September, that count didn't matter, they don't care what they do. The count of loss is just, gravy on the mashed potatoes.
They like to have blood sometimes.
Well, the manipulation and parallel events. But what I've seen over the past year, those events, one of the first things, if you're, and this is a bigger global situation, but if you are moving humans from one place to another, regardless of whether they're small or big humans, children or adults, if you're moving them around, I'm not saying that word out loud, you have to have a way to move them at the rate that gets just gone or moved or whatever. You'd have to have some pretty good transportation systems. Coming from somebody who helped run major businesses most of my life, there's a lot of things that have to go right for logistics of any company. You got to look at that from a company standpoint because somebody's making something off of it because it wouldn't be happening by dirty people if they weren't a profit in it. And you got to shut that down because when you've got people moving, you've got large loads of money moving. So you got to shut down the money train and the carrier train. And I've seen those pieces fall. So if the right pieces are falling, I think we're headed in the right direction.
If the right pieces are falling?
If the right pieces are falling with the way that I think we may have good people that are assuming some kind of power now.
Let's hope so. Let's hope
Light's
so.
winning. We'll just put it that way. The light side's winning for a change.
Let's hope so. I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, no matter what happens in this world, I don't think ultimately it really matters in the big scope of things. But we are supposed to seek and search and expose evil. At least I believe my job in this point in my life is to seek and expose evil. And but of course, there can always be possibly good going on at the same time. But there's definitely a lot of evil going on. But I would sure rather that
There's a lot of evil going on.
Yeah, I would sure rather that it was just all good, that we were blowing up all the tunnels underground. We were closing them all up. And, of course, we're killing about who knows how many humans in those tunnels. We're taking over.
Whole new word, isn't it?
We're taking over Venezuela because they're bad guys and they've been shipping drugs into our country. I really want to believe that story.
No. Wait a minute. That's not what they're shipping, sweetie. Drugs don't come from there.
Well, what's the
Slow
story?
down. See, that's a story. That's the story that we've been taught on the news.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Those things are coming out of there, but they're not the producer. There's a whole nother country down there called Colombia, is where that comes from.
Mm-hmm.
And they might stop there and get some gas or move on or have ports or offload, but that's not where it's coming.
What I'm saying is I would like to believe the mainstream version, that, like, what Mr. T is saying. He's saying that we're not going to allow them to continue to send those boats up. They were blowing up the boats. We've seen it on the television, and they said that now we're going to stop it, and we're going to run that country now, and all this, and it's all for good. It's because, and I would benefit a lot better if all that actually was true. I just have a hard
that probably
time
was good.
trusting these people.
But that was the small thing that got your attention on media. I don't think they were after small boats. They were after bigger boats with big metal containers on them that had those other things I was talking about that moved from country
Why would
to country.
they admit that
From what I've investigated, well, they can't. Okay, let's just say, all right, let's say you're in Texas on the border, and there's somebody on the other side of that border wall, and they want to get you something. A lot of times they go underground, correct?
Or you throw it over the top. It ain't that big of a wall.
Well, they just shoot the drone down. They shot a bunch of them down the other day trying to get drugs over the wall. I'm just saying, if you're trying to get somewhere and there's a big wall up or Coast Guard or whatever, you'll go underground. Well, that's what the little man in the mustache, that's kind of what he done down in South America and going south. He, the one from the 30s, he, tunnels, submarine channels. See, there's all kinds of stuff down in Argentina where you can take submarines and pull right into these big old humongous concrete. You can park a submarine in one of the parking bays on these underground tunnels down in Argentina.
Oh yeah, they've got underground roads all over this country and all over the world. I mean,
they're using those undergrounds. Well, see, when they assumed a lot of when they took a paper clip, everybody know what I'm talking about, and off of the little man with the mustache in the 30s, when they took that paper clip, yeah, they had one of those, and a lot of that information of what was underground was then passed to the people who put the paper clip on their paper. So you now have files from back then that have been opened up to current administrations, because we hope that there are as many people awake in that administration as we know there are among us. So just imagine the fact if you were awakened like we are, but you had security clearance at the CIA. Think about that one.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that person is awake. I'm just saying that level of clearance to information. And if those type of people are in control, it's crazy when you think about what they could have access to, or what some people have had access to for years since paperclip.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Paperclip was um, when in the 30s, the little man with the mustache. He was not the only person on this world that had one of those places that was running those kind of tests on humans. There was one in China too. The Japanese had it.
Mm-hmm.
They done the same experiments, looking for the same things. You ain't gonna tell me two opposing countries are doing that at the same time,
No,
same test.
no,
And the scientists that
it,
got caught doing it defected to other countries and become scientists and professors.
like they showed us
Imagine
with
that.
World War II that all this happened and all these people died, and I think a lot of people did die. I think on both sides for the most part, but they were all the pawns on the chessboard, and I just I don't think that war even needed to happen. I think that they already knew and were in agreement at the top of the pyramid, you might say, and knew what they wanted to do. But the war is really ultimately always about us, the peons on the chessboard. It's always
For
about
your soul.
manipulating and controlling us.
Yeah,
I,
it's
I see y'all guys in the comments. Y'all guys are on fire. Lots of good
um
comments.
I also
Older
want to
Bones is
ask
back in
any
the
of our
house.
viewers. I want to ask our viewers a question. I don't have a set and they got thrown away. If anybody has an old set of Encyclopedia Britannica or a Guinness Book of World Records book, the older the better. I want to know what world population is if you can find it in one of those books, that might give you those facts back then. I have a population theory I'm working on. I don't think
Hmm.
there's 8 billion people on Earth.
Well, there ain't what they say, that's for sure.
Well, think about
Because
this.
they don't tell truths. They, they just don't.
I've had conversations and thought about it, and I'm like, yeah, I remember, when I was in school, that's how many people they said there was on Earth. Well, we ain't had that population increase just because we got the internet. Maybe our count's better now. I mean, it ain't work like that. But think about the fact if you're 1 in 300 million versus 1 in 8 billion, I feel a lot less powerless as 1 in 8 billion, don't you?
Say that again. I'm sorry, I was reading a comment. Say that again. Oh, one of yours. I was in the comments. Go ahead.
If you think about the size of the world population wise, and you are
Uh-huh.
just one person, if I'm one of, let's just say, 300 million versus one of 8 billion, if
Mm-hmm.
I was part of 8 billion, I would feel a lot powerless. Or you know what I mean? I wouldn't
Sure.
feel like I had as much because I was
Sure.
such a small
It's similar to the
percentage.
argument of the planet versus planets and the galaxy, and there's billions of planets out there. Most of a
Right.
lot with life on it. Then it kind of makes you feel like a little less special. So
Right.
yeah,
And
if the
I'm
population
only
was
one person with my
exaggerated,
opinion of how I think things are supposed to be. So me yelling about it as 1 in 8 billion, I just feel powerless.
hey,
But if
holy moly, 271 just said they have 100-year-old encyclopedia.
okay, we need to know what population was. If there's any way, like,
Why
I
don't
don't
you
know.
why don't you give your email address so Holy Moly could uh, get a hold of you and maybe send you some screenshots or some pictures of the encyclopedia where it maybe covers that at. Do you feel
All
comfortable
right,
doing
I'm
that?
posting my email address now. I'm trying to pull together old facts. Y'all, I am curious about looking up anything like that online that's factual data because anything online could have been altered.
Well, Holy
Just because
Moly,
you tell,
you can send it to my email address, logicbeforeauthority@gmail.com.
oh, I put mine in the comments.
Oh,
It's
did
in
you?
there.
Okay.
Yeah, mine's in the comments. It's Roxy's
Oh
New
yeah.
Life at gmail.com.
All right, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I thought you didn't want to
No,
share
you're
your
fine.
email.
I'm trying to find old books. The older the book, the better.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to make sure, like some of these old books of facts, that we're preserving them.
Yeah,
Everything is going digital.
they say there's 350 million people or so in the United States, somewhere between 330 to 350 million. I don't know. I don't know if I believe that.
Well, when you're looking at a map of the continents are not appropriately sized for
No,
landmass.
no, they're not. They're all exaggerated for political reasons and for false mapping reasons.
Right. But you know the the landmass you're seeing on a world map, you can't compare their population to that because some of these continents actually have a good portion of their land which is not livable. It's too cold, it's too harsh, it's too dry, it's too something. And one of the things that has repeated in my brain like something scratching at it, and I told you when this happened that I'm supposed to back off and look at it at 50,000 foot.
Mm-hmm.
Not every image, but you know what I mean? Back off of it. If you can't see the forest for the tree because you're standing too close to a tree and you can't see beyond it, back up. You can see the whole forest.
Oh, that's
And
what
when
we're
I take a
looking at a
global
forest right now
map,
on the TV, on the screen.
well, when you take a map like that on Google Earth and just kind of strip it down, you know, no photography images, and you start zooming in, well, when you're out there toward Nevada or whatever, you start seeing that look at it. It's a dry spot. Why is it a dry spot? Think about land that you grow crops on. You dig drainage ditches because the water seeps in from the edge of it, so the edges of the field are more fertile than the middle where it's dry because there's no water source there. But when you look at it, it almost looks like something has scorched the earth on several continents.
Oh yeah. If you look at the, I don't think I can switch this map view like we're thinking about. But this the whole western United States looks like it boiled or something at some point.
Right. And I mean there's places like that on other continents. But us being Americans, we have been taught about American things and we know what they taught us ain't the truth. See, Shannon and I are gonna start doing a whole segment on our show. It's called the unlearning.
It was a
We
lie.
go through one thing we take one fact that that we've always been taught. We assume that that's what it was supposed to be, and that's just what you think because it was what you taught. But have you gone and done any research? And you'll find out that 85% of what you learn in public education is wrong. They were just teaching you a narrative they wanted you to know. It was the easy story to pacify your mind so you wouldn't start digging. Because
Grabbing
in order to reach heaven, you have to have the curiosity of a child. The curiosity of a child never stops seeking knowledge.
grabbing gears just said about an hour ago. They're like, I think it said Illinois. Right? Let me see if I can
More like 380.
the let me see if I can get the comment back. Hold up. Nope. I can get it back. But anyways, that her location just rumbled like just a little while ago, as a matter of fact. So I'm trying to pull up the comment so I can see it again. And I'll have it in a
Dome
second
of
here.
Rock map. Dome of Rock map of the western U.S. Is that something you've done? I'm supposed to remind you about that? I don't know.
Oh, just let me go backward there. I can do it right here. I just remembered I have a spot I can do it. Grabbing gears. Where did you say grabbing? Okay. I live in Swanee Forest in South Illinois, and about an hour ago, my house shook very briefly. So there we have almost a live example. Now, we could say, well, was that an earthquake? Let's see. You said Illinois, right? Let's get the
Yeah.
latest earthquake, and you said it was about an hour ago. Here is Illinois, and let's see. Here are the earthquakes for today, and we don't have anything up there. All the way down to a 2.5. I would have 2.5 is as low as I can go unless I pay them some money. I don't got no money, so I won't be doing that. But yeah, that's interesting. And I bet there's a whole lot of it going on. And it makes me want to build something other that people can report them, but it's difficult to do that. Not to build it, I could do it, but to get people to report them like that, because they have to leave and go on the website and they have to fill this out and blah, blah. And people are moving so fast these days, it's really hard to slow them down.
Okay, I got a strange question I want to ask our viewers too. Anybody else got a ringing in their ears that doesn't stop?
I mean, consistently all the time?
Yep, 24/7, doesn't stop. It's not unnerving. It's not irritating. It's not bothering me, but it's been there. It's Saturday afternoon, and I had somebody else tell me that they've got the same thing and it's not stopping. Just wondering, just curious. I saw somebody in the comments, Paul Apostle, say something about it, and yeah.
I'm seeing a lot of really cool comments talking about the ice wall, land being beyond the ice wall, which I highly suspect there is. Whether it's accessible or usable by man as we know our abilities right now, I don't know. But is there other land? Yeah, I think there's actually, this is just a theory. I think there is, we exist on 1/4 of the known land. Just a theory. Don't get mad and unsubscribe because I said that there was more land than what we know of. It's just my theory that we're on 1/4 of it, and that from time to time, over thousands of years, there's always land that's being laid fallow. And then there's always land that's being used. And the way to properly do that is a rotation schedule. Just, I'm just Daniel on the Supernatural Show. I can't help it. Let's see. What other comments we got here? Over there, 5724 said, my ears have been ringing my whole life. Oh boy. And Scott, that's 5268 says, yes, always ringing in his head, basically. And Mike Smith said, yes, ears ringing. And
24/7.
Apostle Paul, or Paul Apostle, said, the sound of many waters or rushing water in your head or ringing in your ears is the seal of God. Okay. Interesting.
I've read something that Paul the Apostle just said a while ago, and I've read it several other places that when the ringing starts, you're hearing a trumpet. I know this sounds crazy, but it's there. It's 24/7. It's not stopping.
He said it again. He says, once you received it, instructions are given, hint, sound of trumpet. Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
It literally sounds like a mild dog whistle, and it hasn't stopped since Saturday.
If things get really quiet, I can hear. I mean, but it has to get really quiet. Like right now, I can't hear nothing but Roxy going, in my ear, but I've got on headphones.
Oh no, this doesn't stop. While I'm talking, I can still hear it. I still know it's there.
Oh my. Oh.
It's not unnerving. It's not painful. It's not irritating me. It's just there. I know it's there. I can hear it. It's like a homing beacon almost. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
Rice's Cast says their ears ring 24/7. And Compassionate Virtuous says many friends' ears ringing since the 19 shot. Oh, that 19 shot, right?
Yeah, I ain't got no pokies.
Yeah, we don't do pokies around here. No kind of pokies, even if they relabel it and call it something else.
Population 1920, 105 million. Is that for the whole? Oh, that was continental U.S.
Continental U.S. 105. So since
So
20,
supposedly our population is tripled.
tripled since 20. But then you have to say, well, was that number correct? I mean, I think the population since 1920, one thing for sure, they've been working on us since around that time or even before, probably way before. But they've been in 1920, that's right there around 1918, the Spanish flu epidemic thing, where they claimed that there was a flu that was making people sick. And the solution, of course, was a snake bite. But what was making people sick, turns out, was actually simply the frequencies in the air that were coming out from the invention of television, or the original name they called it, like radio. They called it radiation, but they changed it to radio because it sounded better than radiation, because that's the term for broadcasting frequency. It is a radiation. And that, if you don't know, and if you don't know, go see on the website. There is an hour and a half video on there called Operation Radiation 3.0. It can be accessed in the pay-per-view section. It's a $5 donation. That will show you and prove it to you what I'm talking about. All right, let's see what else we got in the comments here.
Yes, Holy, I saw the population figures. In Georgia, I am well aware of Sabrina Wallace. I'm well aware of Miss Sabrina.
And I'm going to let the chat go on the screen now, too.
Oh, thank goodness. I can see it. My blind self can actually read it. Thank you. Yeah, she explains to you about the body of internet, the Internet of Things, which connects our body to the towers and how long they've had the technology and the nano stuff that goes into it. She's amazing, super smart. Some people think she's kind of kooky.
Well, some people think I'm kooky.
I know I'm kooky. I'm proud to be kooky.
Yeah, right. I don't want to be normal, that's for sure. That ain't worked good at all at this point for us. 5G frequencies, yeah. It's the alteration of the frequency. It's tied to our DNAs, our blood types and stuff as to whether or not you're affected by certain changes, for sure. I don't know why my API chat is not working right, but it's not working right.
Well, I just want to remind everybody to have some, I can't remember the lexicon word that we use. Yeah, the Mectin. I couldn't remember the lexicon word that we use for that. I'm sorry.
The iMectin?
Yeah, everybody's kind of getting this coffee stuffy something going around.
Mm-hmm.
I beg of you to go do some research, everybody,
and make your own choices.
Can't talk about it much because I knew exactly what it'll get us. It's a two-part word. The first part of the word is adeno, ADENO. There is a second part of this word that starts. Well, they try to give you those sticky pokies for this word that starts with a V. Add that to the first word I give you and go look it up. Go look it up.
Starts with a what?
It's a Dino. And then there was I
don't know if I'm the only one, but I'm a little bit lost myself.
Go look up adeno, ADENO. Second part of that word starts with a V. IR.
Adeno.
And then us.
Mectin?
No. This is
can
what
you
the
just put it in the chat
fix.
so I can see what it is? In the chat that I can see right here on the screen in the studio room.
Oh. I got you.
My brain ain't working that good, apparently. And once I see it, I'm gonna be like, duh. But at the moment,
That's the first part of the
you
word.
can just spell it out. You don't have to give me the codes.
There.
Oh,
There you
duh.
go. Mm.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you.
That is the carrier.
Mm,
That'll tell you a lot. But to kill the carrier, the mectin works.
mm, okay.
They
Well, do
can
your
take that
research,
right.
guys, and because we don't want to.
They can take that and add anything to it. That's what. Okay. Let's just say your immune system is a bubble. That bubble has warriors on the outside to fight anything that comes at it that's not like it. This thing right here is the Trojan horse. It lets it slip into your bubble, and then once it is activated up under stressful situations, it will then activate the warriors will come out of the Trojan horse. So if you want to kill the whole horse before anything gets out, your mectin is the way.
That's our opinion, and you need to do your own research because
Right.
you have to suffer the results of good or bad as to what happens when you listen to somebody on YouTube or any other place. You are the one in charge of your life, and you have to make your decisions. Don't listen to other people. However, we encourage you to look into things sometimes and make your own decisions. It's just I really come to understand in the last year, we are, well, a little bit longer now, we are really the ones responsible for, because we always know when something other's going on, like you got a call for you got stumped your toe, whatever you did, everybody's going to say, you need to do, what are they going to say? They're going to come up with all these different things you need to do. And if you listen to them, maybe it helped you. Maybe you don't have no toe no more. So you got to be careful is all I'm saying. But
Well,
we've
that's why I
both
said go look up what this is. There are documents online now
are you showing this
that,
on your show and kind of explaining more?
well, yeah, we've been through it. We go through it about every week because this is that.
Are there existing shows on your channel that have
Uh,
information about this on it?
Not just, it's just a snippet in it. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not a full show about the subject matter. It's not,
Uh-uh.
okay.
No, because it wouldn't last very long. They take that one down.
There is that.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Let's see. I'm looking. Rage Against the Machines saying all kind of crazy stuff. What are you talking about, Rage? Cocoa
Rage is
Puffs.
always up to something.
He's was my favorite cereal. Yeah. Look up. You don't want to eat no cereal no more if you go look up Kellogg's and who they were. They were like genocidists, murderers. It's like insane. Everything. Let's see here. Okay. Apostle. Dang it. Got away from me again. Let me pull up what he was just saying. Oh, graphene oxide in it. The snake bite. Yeah, I had all kind of stuff in it. Even literally your people were going to the graveyards after people had died after getting the snake bites, and their Bluetooth connections were showing up in the grave. I mean, literal full-on computer systems were in that stuff, and worse. Remember all the people's purple veins, and oh God,
Go look up smart dust.
all that crazy stuff that we went through, but they're not done. You gotta keep in mind they're coming back for another. I mean, they're already still in a round right now, but a more intense round or another wave. We got to flatten the curve. Well, they got another curve coming, so you better be aware of it. And well, guys, we've been going with you pretty good here for quite a while. I don't want to drag nobody out too long and make this impossible for later on for people to watch back. I am very grateful to Roxy for being here with us today. She is from the Roxy Files on YouTube and also on Rumble, and she does live shows. Tell me about it, Roxy.
Tuesday night at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. And I'll be back on Thursday night on Children of the Most High with Shannon, Soul 7. That one will be at No, I'm wrong. Tuesday is 4:30, 7:30. Thursday is 6:30, 9:30. But Tuesday and Thursday, I'll be on. All you got to do is look at my channel. We'll post it during the day of what the scheduled time is. We're going to be decoding episode 3 of Pluribus, and we will be back down the Nephilim RH negative rabbit hole, I'm sure. That's where we tend to get back to.
Yep. Yep. All right. And Shannon, she's doing her shows approximately on Thursdays at about what time?
6:30, 9:30.
Around that same area.
6:30 Pacific, 9:30 Eastern.
All right. That channel is called Children of the Most High. And of
Yes.
course, I do my Logic Before Authority shows because I, as Logic Before Authority, I am also part of the Supernatural Show Network. And we also have, let's see here where I can show you so you can see it. Yeah, let's go to here. We also have Jesse Howell, which was on the show with us on Friday, that is going to be doing shows as well, coming up here very soon. He's starting up his new channel, which is called Primal Instinct News Drop, as you can see on the screen here. And he is also on YouTube and Rumble, and I'm sure he's going to be expanding to some other places as well with the type of platform he's going to be doing, which is similar to the way we're doing it here, because we're live on 11 platforms right now and broadcasting surely worldwide. And we've got a big crowd here today, so I'm glad to have y'all guys here with us. If you're new by chance, subscribe. You might want to even bookmark the page, because there are those powers that be that want you to never hear my voice again. Okay, so if you were lucky enough to get here today, you might want to take a couple of actions and don't just trust that YouTube is going to keep you subscribed. You might want to just bookmark it or do something else. Write it down, something, because we have the enemies working against us, and they want to keep dividing us into small little groups. But the Supernatural Show Network is trying to bring all those small little groups together into a major network, broadcasting 7 days a week, day and night, worldwide, and cross-promoting with each other. And we invite y'all guys to be part of that. And lastly, two things. Lastly, one, I'd like to say hello to Shannon. I'm sure she's probably listening if she can. And also say thank you to Super Dave and Super Mike Smith. And thank you to Miss Kim for helping out as well. And of course, like I said, thank you to Roxy. And also, guys, we're still in the process of collecting names for people that would like to join us on the Angel Cruise. The idea is to go out on the water, be on the water pretty much every day, especially every night, and go out and maybe do some singing of some gospel songs on the ship's deck. Do some of those kind of things. This is a no judgment tour, so you can come as you are and join us on a cruise we're trying to line up. And like I said, no, I don't got no money for a cruise, but if I can organize enough people as a group, I'll actually get a room for free. And that's the only way I'm going to get to go, just the way it is. But I appreciate everybody being here. I've got a little video here for you about the Angel Cruise that you can check out. And Roxy, thank you very much, darling. And we'll talk to you later on too, okay?
Bye, guys. You're welcome. Have a good night.
All right. And guys, we will see you on Wednesday, if not sooner, okay? Wednesday, if not sooner. And guys, if you want to see more information about the Angel Cruise and details on it, you can go on the website, TheSupernatural.Show, and click on Angel Cruise. And gives you a bunch of different questions to ask. It's just a pre-registration, so you're not committing to nothing. And but it lets us know that you would be interested in joining us. We have enough people to go at this point, but we need some more people to go. I want some more people to go. So let's get together and go hang out on a cruise ship deck, and hopefully, God willing, some angels will show themselves like they have to me 100 at least times before at the beach. Come to the water's edge, and they would show up quite often. I think that they will if we're out there for several days sitting out on the decks, watching the stars, are the angels also. But anyways, I love you, and we'll see you again here real soon. Likely Wednesday, of course, on the Logic Before Authority show. Until then, we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye for now.